300. 400. Hey, are you still going, Heather, or are you celebrating? What we got?
Sorry, I think I was 300. That was it.
Yay! That's awesome. That's awesome. Melissa, what's yours?
220.
Great job, Melissa. And Heather is queen. Get ready. Here we go. And place. Oh, she's a beautiful queen. Great job, great job, great job. Okay, if you shared the Mary Kay opportunity this last week, give it some love. Yay! Melissa Runyon. Anybody else share the Mary Kay opportunity? Heather Kuzno did. Anybody share with 2? Anybody share 2? Yay! 3? Did anybody add a new team member? Anybody?
So we have,
great job. Say it again.
real quick. So we have Keita on. She is almost a new consultant, not quite yet, but she could not wait to hop on and start learning. So she is here as Melissa's, but not officially a new consultant yet, but almost there.
Very good. Okay, and I was talking to her in the other and just teaching her and training her away. Okay. Welcome, Keita. We are so glad you are here. Very, very proud of you for getting additional information. Great, great work. Okay, so what we are going to do now is we are going to do some training and some leadership skills transferring. Okay, so you will want to get your pen and paper out. Okay, so what this is about leadership. Because we all have the same product, we all have the same marketing plan, but some people earn cars and some people earn diamonds and some people move up into directorship. So what is it that makes that happen? What is that difference? And that difference is their thinking. The way that they think. And as a result of how they think, it determines what they do. You show me what you're doing, and I will tell you what you're thinking. And I have even had opportunities in my life where I'm watching myself and I'm like, what is that about? And I walk the idea back and I'm like, what's that about? And I walk the idea back and I'm like, where did that thought come from? And then I realize, and I'm like, that is not what I believe. And right then and there, it changes. So last week, we talked about show me your date book and I will show you your future. Show me your date book and I will show you your future. Why is that? What does the date book have to offer? By the way, Debbie, are you a consultant or a guest? She's a guest?
She is a guest.
Oh my gosh, I'm doing it again. Okay, Debbie, I did this last week and I was just teaching and training away. And Debbie's like, well, wait a minute, I want to know about my date book. No, you, my love, are going to go back into the skincare class and you are going to have a ball with Heather Peach-Myers and you are going to feel oh so yummy on your skin. So Emily is going to take care of that. I tell you what, Debbie, I'm going to be fired for sure.
Emily, can you send me as well?
Heather's got a cough. She puny, she under the weather. Thank you for being on, Debbie. We are extremely grateful. Come on, Debbie. Did we get it? Got it? Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Okay. So, show me your calendar and I'll show you your future. What is that thought about? What makes the calendar determine the future? Somebody talk to me.
Where you're spending your time.
Where you're spending your time.
Does it
what else
reflect? Does it reflect the direction that you want to go?
And it'll also share if there is a misunderstanding of the activity required for the goal. Yeah. What were you saying, Melissa?
It shows how many appointments you've actually got booked and how many you've held.
Yes, because there's wisdom in that also. If the ratio is maybe a little high, maybe I'm booking a lot, but I'm not actually holding them, there's wisdom there. You can learn from that. If I am only booking a few and holding all of them, but only booking a few, then there is wisdom in that. What else does it show?
Melissa said what it takes to reach your goal.
Oh, okay. I could not hear her. Yes. Yes, it does. It shows the level of activity, because when you are able to look at the work, then you can mathematically figure out the goal. Definitely. And another thing that it does is it shows you the gaps in organization. It shows you the gaps in organization, because you cannot outwork bad systems. You cannot outwork bad systems. You will end up doing exponentially more work with less results. So when you're able to look at that, then you're able to say, what do I need to do? So for example, maybe you work with a whole lot of new people, but they don't reorder. Then you know that there's a system that needs to be mastered or implemented so that all of that work that you did to get them as customers keeps them as customers. Mary Kay Ash said, it is 25%, it costs 25% to be able to keep a customer rather than go out and get a new one. It's exponentially more economical to keep someone happy rather than go get a new customer. So all of those things help you understand where your headspace is, because when you look at the calendar does not lie. The calendar does not lie. It's an inanimate object, so it just is. So it does not skirt, it does not shade, it does not any of that. It just shows. And with that, you can determine where the gap is. Now, I will transparently tell you where most people's leadership gap is. Most people's leadership gap is prioritizing the booking calls. Prioritizing the booking calls. Now, you notice that I use the word prioritizing. It's not that they don't want to, it's that they do not prioritize it. It's also booking calls. They'll make those customer service reach outs because that's their friends. Booking conversations, because that's where it's vulnerability, because these people don't know me and they don't love me, and therefore they're more likely to say no thank you or something like that. So there's that fear of rejection. And the third thing I said was booking calls, booking calls. There is exponentially more. Hang on just a second. Emily, I think Debbie is in the waiting room. There we go. There she is. You got it? Okay. So there is exponentially more transfer of passion and energy and all of that when it's a call. 80% of all communication is nonverbal. That means that when you can be face to face, you can get a whole lot more information. The second best is either Zoom or a phone call. And Zoom and a phone call are put in the same place because you can't get all of the nonverbals. Okay? So when you are on the phone with them, then you can hear their responses and they can hear yours. They can hear your passion. That is what is important. Because when they hear that, they are exponentially more likely to support what you are doing. Because they get it, because they heard it. Okay. So with that thought in mind, on your piece of paper, I want you to write down how much time last week you personally spent booking your date book. How much time last week did you personally spend booking your date book? Okay, now I want you to glance at your date book if you're able to. If you're on your phone, you may not be able to. But if you can, I want you to glance at your date book and see the results of that. Maybe you spent an hour and you held one appointment. Maybe you spent an hour and you held 2 appointments. Maybe you spent 2 hours and you held 2 appointments, but at those 2 appointments, you inspired them and incentivized them to bring friends. And so it was 2 appointments, but it was 7 faces. Look at your results and figure out the math. And you may not be able to do it right now, especially if math is a little bit more challenging for you. You may not be able to do it right now. You may need to get together with your director, but figure out the math to hit the goal, whatever the goal is. And the goal is for November. And so sometimes when that is said on the 21st of the month, people go, oh, well, the month is over. No, it is not. There is still 25% of the month left. Miracles can happen. And people are like, well, there's only 1 week left. It's only 25% left. Well, if you make $100,000 in a year and somebody takes 25,000, that's only 25%, but you want it, don't you? Yeah, you do. So 25% is significant. Significant. And you can make anything that you want happen. It's just a matter of asking with the future in mind, with intentionality, with purpose. Now, do things happen that are out of your control? Absolutely, yes. Absolutely, yes. We can't control everything. We can't control the weather. We can't control sickness. We can't. But we can control how many people we ask. And when we understand our numbers, then we can influence the final result. So what does that mean? I have noticed as of late that my actual appointments held are pretty much 50% of what is booked and confirmed, 50%. So I'm booking 4 and 2 are actually holding. I'm booking 4 appointments and 2 are actually holding. So rather than say, I'm never going to get to my goal, I say, okay, then if I know that it takes 4 appointments to get 2, and I know I need how many appointments to get to my goal, then I need more appointments. But more importantly, I need to prioritize my booking time. That's where the gap is for most people. They can know their numbers, they can know what their booking ratio is, but they don't go back and prioritize their booking time. So that's why before this meeting, we book for an hour together for accountability. Because if somebody's not on, we're like, hey, sis, where are you? And also for celebration. When we get a booking, it is time to celebrate together. Or if somebody tells us no, thank you, we're still with our friends. We're with people who love us. So it just doesn't reach us the same. All of that is so incredibly important to keep the headspace right and to keep the headspace moving forward. So I want you to look at your date book, and I want you to see if you have your times marked off for the next week to finish out the month. And if not, take a moment and do that. Mark off times to hold appointments. Mark off times to book appointments. So let's talk about that for a minute. When I was a new consultant, we booked appointments 2 weeks out. That was what we were trained to do, and that was pretty much what people did. I do not book 2 weeks out now. I book for the next 7 days. I book for the next 7 days. People know what they are doing. They know if they're available, and they will fill it. It is very, very different than when I was a new consultant. Very different. Now, we didn't book for further than 2 weeks, but we definitely didn't book that much shorter. And now it is definitely shorter. Women are making quicker decisions and absolutely doing it. So keep that in mind, because sometimes we tell ourselves they need time. They do not need time. They don't need time. So look at your calendar again with that new lens and say, when am I available? What are my working times? And the place to influence is with more people. Inspiring someone to grab a friend, to grab a family member, to bring someone with them, so that you have more people that you are in front of experiencing the product, hearing the opportunity, and being a talent scout for you. Because when you have more people out there, it makes a difference in your business. And you never know. This past week, I had someone tag me in a post on Facebook. Who do you know that sells Mary Kay? And they tagged me. I have not talked to that woman that tagged me in at least 8 years. Having more people out there being a talent scout for you makes a difference. So what is the thought process that makes that possible? It's understanding that it all comes back to you. It all comes back to you. If you inspire someone and you give them free product for bringing people, it will come back to you. And some people won't give things away. There is an appropriate amount to give away, and you can talk with your director about that. But there absolutely is benefit to inspiring people to bring people with them. So I want you to write on your piece of paper the answer to this question. If I had 10 times more courage, what would I complete by the end of the month? If I had 10 times more courage, what would I complete by the end of the month? Courage is a choice. It's when you feel the fear, but you do the action anyway. Courage is a muscle. It is a muscle that can be strengthened. And courage is a bucket. It's a bucket that leaks when it's not used and poured back into. So if you had 10 times more courage, what would you accomplish? Who wants to share what they would accomplish?
I guess I got tagged to share.
I'm going to say yes.
I would share and ask every single person that I bump into, everybody in that 2 to 4 foot radius. And by doing that, I would hit DIQ by the 30th at midnight.
That right there. Yeah. With 10 times more courage, she would ask everyone within a 2 to 4 foot radius. And when she asks that many people, she would hit DIQ by the end of the month. And she would finish directorship in December, and she would go with us to leadership in January. Definitely 10 times more courage. Anybody else? It's a safe space. I will share with you, with 10 times more courage, I would have 2 new first-time red jackets. I would have 2 new first-time red jackets. And you may be thinking, well, what does that have to do with you? Like, that's somebody else, but that's leadership driven. I would speak to them in a way that helped them have more courage. But a part of that is they also may be upset or not responsive to it. And then they can, whatever, be offended, whatever. So with 10 times more courage, I would give someone the gift of red jacket, at least 2 people. Anybody else? And thank you, Melissa, for sharing. That was very bold and courageous. On your way to courage, girl. Anybody else? Emily, you want to share?
I will. Mine is red jacket driven too. So I would have one new red jacket by the end of November and then an additional 2 by the end of December.
Yep. Leadership driven. And probably when I shared mine, she understood the courage part, like calling people to what they're capable of. Yeah. Anyone else before we break out into the breakout rooms? Okie doke. Well, what I want you to do over the next couple of days is live as if. Live as if you have that 10 times more courage. Live as if. Because when you live as if, then you will find that your needle moves to more courage. And you will live over in the courage department more than you did. And eventually you will live in the courage department more, period. So being courageous enough to live as if will allow you to believe it, to live it, and then to leave it. Leave good enough, leave the comfort zone, leave a faulty belief system. Very good. Okay, so we're going to create the breakout rooms, and in the breakout rooms, we're going to go with our individual units. Okay. And I am going to try something. I'm going to be on Facebook at the same time.